All right, now for our next story. For more than 30 years, Marian House, an organization in Baltimore, Maryland, has been helping women struggling with homelessness, poverty, and substance abuse.
Tala Hadavi of VOA's Persian News Network spent time with one Marian House graduate who turned her own life around and is now helping others do the same. Let's take a look.
How often are you using heroin? Are you using every day? How much are you using? Okay. What's your name?
This is something Monica Scott does all day. Her phone rings and there's someone else on the other end who needs help, who probably got her number from someone else she's helped.
Okay, can you meet me at about 2 o'clock? Have a good day. I'll see you later.
So Tala, you got a really personal story from Monica. How is it that you were able to find her?
Actually, a colleague was reading some newspaper in Baltimore, a local newspaper about this organization, and he came over to my desk and he was like, "This is a story for you. I know you're gonna love it." So that's how it went about, and then I contacted them.
And what's this organization?
So it's an organization for women that the tagline is women moving from dependence to independence. It's for women that have gone through a lot of addiction in their lives, sexual harassment, rape, and homelessness, a lot of substance abuse.
And this program, of course, is called Marian House, and Monica was a graduate of the program. Tell us a little bit about what it was like spending time with her.
So after I did the first story about the house, I asked them, we spent a couple of days there, me and a colleague, and I asked them, what happens with these women afterwards? Because a lot of the issues that happens with these kind of, situations is that they go through the program, yes, but then afterwards the sustainability is not that great. So a lot of them go back to the streets. But Marian House is really keen on working with them as long as they need to. I asked them, can I speak to a couple of alumni of the program? They suggested a couple of women. They just actually celebrated the 30th anniversary last year, so they published a book with 30 stories of these women, and Monica was one of the women.
Scott was a substance abuser for more than 24 years. Heroin, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, pills. She became homeless, turned to prostitution and drug dealing, and ended up going to prison.
I came home from prison after 4 years, 6 months, and 20 days to the Marian House, and that's when my life started.
What was it about her story that struck you the most?
She's so humble about it. She talks, she has already 2 degrees. She's working on her master's degree. She's in her mid-40s. She works 2 different jobs. On top of it, she's trying to start her own nonprofit where she helps women men and women actually, that come from these type of programs and need to get into a job. And a lot of times they can't get that first job. So she will provide them the first job where they learn the skills and then they move on. And that way they build a resume and can actually go to a job outside.
She says her troubled background makes her better at her job.
Because I've lived on both sides of the fence, I've lived on both sides of the tracks, so I can empathize from a personal perspective as well as from a professional perspective.
As she walks the streets of Baltimore, she encounters many of her success stories.
Hi ladies, how y'all doing?
One of the things that fascinated me watching your story was seeing Monica walking through the streets of Baltimore as you followed her around on that day, and her interactions with people that she's helped. So what was it like for you to see these responses, and how would you describe how people received her?
One of the things that struck me the most was the fact that people trusted her.
I'm glad to hear things are going well for you.
I am awesome.
Good.
I'm going to my daughter's graduation.
Because they know that she's been through the same struggle. She's been on the streets with them maybe 10, 15 years ago, but she's been there before. And I think that's what's so impactful, is to show, look, I was there one day. I was where you are right now. Look where I am right now.
Why do you think it is that she wanted to share with you?
Well, I think it was a difficult decision for her. I don't think she was, just open up her life to us. I think it's important for her to share that story because she knew the impact that we can make at VOA.
Right, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you about is how Monica's story and the story of these other women who've gone through Marian House program's treatment, how do their stories relate to the wider substance abuse struggle around the world?
I think it's simple. I think it's just to say, I have been there, I've done it, you can do it too. Watch how I did it, watch the struggles that I've had. But by inspiring people, I think that's how it can be, sort of the story can be related to others around the world.
And Tala Hadavi again is with VOA's Persian News Network.